Looks like we're live. So today is yoga for stress. We stay on the mat. We don't really get up on our feet, do any extreme poses. This is just focused on getting grounded, finding ways to find and reduce a little stress, connect with our body, connect with our breath, and then relax. Learn how to relax and release stress. Today we have a reading about magic. So we're going to think about magic the whole time. So magic is a thing that we like to bring into the studio. Anyway, we have unicorns everywhere. So magic, thinking about awe and magic throughout the class today. And we are going to start seated. I'm sitting on a cushion. So being seated for today is about being comfortable. So if you need a chair, if you feel more comfortable sitting in a chair with your feet on the ground and your back supported, go ahead. There are no prizes for sitting cross-legged, especially because I can't even see you, so make a choice for your own comfort. If you have a cushion and you like to sit on a cushion, go ahead and use it. You can also sit on a block. You can sit on the block underneath your hips. You can sit cross-legged, or you can place the block underneath your hips and sit with your knees folded. Lots of different options. Find the one that works for you. So make some choices. Yoga should be about autonomy over your own practice. So I'm here to guide you and give you suggestions, but it's all about having an internal experience. So you need to tune in and listen. And when you have these things that happen, let's say you've decided you want to look like a perfect yogi and you want to sit cross-legged. When you have these things that happen, maybe your back starts to ache, or maybe your hips feel strange, or maybe you sit on a nerve. Ask yourself why you're doing it. Use that as a teachable moment. Why didn't you get the chair? Why didn't you choose to be more comfortable for the practice? Use it as a teachable moment for yourself. So I'm offering comfort. Please take it. Come to a seat. We're going to sit and we're going to ground in a seated position. If you have blocks, they're handy to have. If you have a cushion, also handy to have. It is nice to place blocks or a cushion in underneath your arms. So see, I have my arms resting on the blocks on my lap, and now my shoulders can really settle. So my shoulders don't have to hold my arms up. They're relaxed on the block. So I invite you to try this. Cushion, pillow, anything that you have to place your arms on. Find your position where you're nice and comfortable. Your shoulders are nice and comfortable. And look at your hands. Look at your hands and soften your hands. So really soften the hands. Take some movements in the hands. Often we have so much tension and gripping in our hands and we have no idea it's there. So really look at them, see them, soften them. Really start to loosen the hands. Loosen the shoulders. And when we think about our spine, rather than thinking about what Grandma said and told you to pull your spine, stand up straight, think about getting taller. So think about taking the weight of your skull off the vertebrae. So sending the crown of your head up a little higher. Getting a little longer and really just seeing where the compensation patterns are in your back when you sit. Do you hold tension in the low back? In the mid back, between the shoulder blades, around the neck. Maybe you hold tension across the chest, pulling your shoulders back, pinching between the shoulder blades and pulling the shoulders back. Take a look, feel inside your own body. Starting to have a real mind-body connection with what is going on in your body. Pay attention to the face. Try to soften the gripping in the face, and if it's comfortable, bring your eyes softly closed or just soften your focus on something. One thing, something not distracting, maybe a dot on the floor ahead of you. And just start to see where the breath is at. Are you breathing into your chest? Are you forcing long, slow breaths with a lot of muscular action? Are you holding and gripping around the rib cage with your muscles? Just notice. And then try to locate a sound in the room. Any sound, locate a sound. Try not to label it, but imagine that you're listening to this sound for the very first time ever. You've just heard this sound and you have no idea what it is. Just start to hear the sound. Hear it. Really hear it. And then let go of that sound and move on to another one. Locate another sound within your space. Notice it, hear it. And then let go of that sound. This time see if you can find a sound that's really far away. See if you can tune out everything else and just notice that sound. And then draw your hearing really close in and see if you can find the sound of your own breath. Notice what you do, what happens when you focus in on your breath. There are no right or wrong answers. You're just inquiring. So noticing, when I bring my focus to my breath, do I start to force my breath? Do I find it hard to focus on my breath? Just noticing. Notice, are you breathing in through the nose and out through the nose? Or are you breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth, or in through the mouth, out through the nose? Notice any pattern that you have with your breath. And then gently and softly switch your pattern to breathe in nice and slow through the nose and out nice and slow through the nose. Try to do this with a soft face without gripping in the mouth and the jaw. Maybe even bringing a soft smile to your face. Thinking about the magic that is our breath. We draw in, and it's converted into all the energy that our body needs, sent around the body, and then we breathe out anything that's no longer needed. And this magical process happens if we focus on it, and it also happens when we don't focus on it. And then begin to change your breathing pattern. This time we're going to breathe in slowly through the nose and sigh out of a soft mouth. Inhale slowly. Exhale, soft sigh. return to just whatever feels natural for your breath for a couple of breaths. Notice how you're beginning to feel. Notice any differences that you're beginning to feel. Notice if your mind is pulling you in 1,000 directions and just doesn't want to stay on your breath today. The practice is not forcing the mind to stay on the breath. The practice is learning when the mind is too busy. Learning when the mind is in control. Getting to know yourself. And then one more breath practice. We're going to make a soft O with our mouth. And we're going to breathe in through our mouth and breathe out through our mouth. Cooling breath. So soft O with the mouth, breathing in. Breathing out. A couple of rounds like this, and just notice what happens. Notice if you start to bring muscular tension to the face or the torso or any kind of tension around this kind of breath. And try to soften, 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 soften. Inhale softly through a soft O. Exhale softly. Trying to loosen and soften the face and the shoulders and the back. And soften back into whatever breath is natural for you right now. And check in. Notice any sensations. Notice your thoughts. And then ponder the fact that you can notice your thoughts. So if I can see my thoughts, if I can see that they are thoughts, then I am the one that can see the thoughts, not the thoughts. Seeing that I am the one that is a little more than just the thoughts. If you have your eyes closed, gently and softly float them open. Take in your room, take in your space. We're going to start to very softly and gently connect with the physical body. So begin by pressing your arms down into your blocks, your pillow, whatever you have for your arms. Just pressing your arms down gently. Starting to feel the shoulders. So you start to feel the shoulder muscles, start to feel the muscles of the chest. Try not to bring gripping into the hands. And then we're just going to lift one shoulder really slowly up at a time. And then down. Trying to just connect with the shoulders, feel the shoulders, have an experience with the shoulders. And then let the shoulders soften. Bring the chin all the way down to the chest and really connect with what is going on in the back of the neck. Bring the chin all the way up to the ceiling and connect with the front of the neck. Really feel like you're pushing your chin up. Try not to drop the skull, but push the chin up. Get longer in the front of the neck. And then bring the chin back to neutral. Take the right ear to the right shoulder. Feel the left side. Connect with what is going on here. Bring the chin back to neutral. Take the left ear to the left shoulder. Maybe even give a little tiny pull of the right shoulder in the opposite direction. So you have that little cross action, really feeling the muscles in the right side of the neck. And back to center. If you have a block or something similar, you're going to take your block in between your hands. If you don't, just imagine that you're squeezing the block. So really imagine that block and connect with the muscles that would squeeze the block. So you can do this. The block just makes it easier. It's actually a little harder to imagine and stay connected. The block just helps. So hold on to the block. Squeeze your block. Watch for your compensation pattern. So you're looking for that connection, mind-body connection. What happens in your body when you squeeze the block? Your arms engage, your shoulders engage, your chest maybe. So feel that and then pay attention to the low back. What's it doing? Is the low back gripping? Are the muscles in the neck gripping? Are you squeezing your face? Is the block suddenly getting heavier and heavier and heavier? Are you asking yourself 1,000 reasons why this teacher is making you do this and why you signed up for this practice? Notice, have an experience, tune in to all those things. Hold the block. Squeeze the block. Not like you're trying to smash it, but just hold and squeeze. And then slowly return the chin down towards the chest, feel the neck. And then take the chin all the way to the ceiling, push the chin up. Squeezing the block. Bring the chin back to neutral, right ear to right shoulder. Squeeze the block. Bring the chin back to neutral, right, left ear to left shoulder. Other side. Back to neutral, still squeezing the block. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Push your block forward. Push, 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 push. And then pull your shoulders back. Draw your shoulder blades together, still squeezing the block. Notice what happens in the back. Watch for those compensation patterns. Bring it back, shoulders to neutral, still squeezing your block. Engage the stomach, so get a little bit taller, engage the stomach. Take your block all the way past the left knee. So find the muscles that make this twisting motion. Imagine you're grabbing your groceries out of your car. Bring it back to neutral, nice and slow. Squeezing the muscles. Squeeze the core. Take it past the right knee. Squeeze the block. Bring it back to neutral. And then let go of your block. If you threw it, let it go, loosen it. Feel the arms and then flick them out. Soften the arms. Try to get some wiggles in the muscles of the arms. Take some soft shoulders. Loosen, soften, let go of gripping. And then bring the hands back to comfort. Arms back to comfort. Tall spine. Tall, tall, tall. Growing through the crown of the head. And then take the chin to the chest and notice what's going on in the back of the neck now. Maybe there is a change. Maybe there's not. Chin to ceiling. Back to neutral. Right ear to right shoulder. Back to neutral. Left ear to left shoulder. Back to neutral. Take the right hand out even with the right shoulder. Push the right hand out. So push it out without moving the spine. Torso stays where it is. Push to the maximum extension of the shoulders. Push, 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 push. And then draw the shoulder back across the back. So draw the shoulder blade back, across the back. So it's not a big movement, you're just finding the muscles in the shoulder. Pull it back, push it out. Pull it back and push it out. Pull it back, squeeze it back, find the muscles in the shoulder that make this movement. See, I'm trying to remind my torso to stay still and not do the work, not compensate by holding my torso. Lots of tricks you can do when you know your own compensation patterns. If your low back is doing your work, maybe you put your left hand on your low back. Push away, pull back. Push away, pull back. Pull back, and then draw the shoulder blade up towards the ear. So lift, lower, lift, lower. Find the muscles that make this movement. So, shoulders can move in all kinds of directions. When we're looking to find holding patterns, weakness in muscles, draw up and draw down. Let the arm go. Take a moment to feel left and right sides. So really check in on the shoulders, see how they feel. Maybe they feel a little different, maybe they don't. Arms back to comfort and neutral. Take the left hand out, even with the shoulder. Push the left hand out without moving the torso. So maybe reminding your torso to hold. Push the left hand out to maximum extension of the shoulder. And then draw the shoulder blade back across the back. Push it out, draw it back. Push it out, draw it back. Really paying attention to any compensation patterns. Maybe holding the lower back and reminding it to not do the work. Push out, draw back. Push out and draw back. Nice, slow, soft breath. Connecting with your muscles. And then draw it back, hold. So draw the shoulder blade across the back, squeezing into midline. And then draw the shoulder blade up and the shoulder blade down. Shoulder blade up, shoulder blade down. Trying to stay engaged, trying to find the muscles and trying to remind those big muscles in the back that they're not supposed to be doing the work right now. And then bring it down. Notice left and right sides. Maybe they feel different, maybe they feel the same. Take some flicks. Flick fingers, flick the arms. Like you're sprinkling fairy dust all around you. Imagine that you're throwing glitter all around your space. And the whole space is going to sparkle like magic. And then bring your arms down. We're going to inhale, arms up overhead, zombie arms. And exhale, sweep the arms down. Inhale up, breathe in fresh. Exhale, sweep away what we don't need. Bring your arms back to comfort, your torso back to neutral. Soften the face, invitation to close the eyes, and tune in. What feels different, what doesn't. Maybe you've found some holding patterns that are talking to you. Tune in, feel the breath. And then slowly make your way over to a tabletop position. Taking the time to move out for props. Landing in a tabletop position. We're just going to connect with a breath movement meditation. So, rather than thinking about how these shapes should look, try to have an internal experience. We're going to inhale in a tabletop shape and exhale, send the hips backwards towards a child. But really just beginning to feel our hands on the ground, our legs on the ground, trying to have a connection from the fingertips to the toes. Inhale, exhale. Tuning in, finding breath and movement, finding that connection. You can begin to sway. Start to feel what feels good in your own body today. Maybe you sway the hips, maybe you change the weight left to right hands, maybe you tuck the toes, maybe you leave them untucked. Just starting to connect. Inhale forward, exhale backwards. Arriving in this moment, in this body, with this breath. And then come forward to a tabletop. Connect with weight in your hands. So let go of that perfect alignment that people have told you that your hands have to be directly under your shoulders. And find the position where your hands and your wrists feel comfortable. So place your hands so that you can place weight on your hands, and the more you change this position, the healthier it is because you change the shape of the muscle strength. So changing your angles, changing how you have your hands, finding what works for you. Once you start to take weight in the hands, rather than leaning forward and dumping and landing in the joints, press into the ground and lift up out of the joints. You're pulling up out of the joints. Taking weight in the arms, however, still lifting up. Breathing and feeling weight in the arms. We're going to take our weight a little bit more over to the right hand and then a little bit over to the left hand. So just starting to feel a small exchange of weight. Slow, gentle. This is yoga for stress. We're not trying to build lots of strength. We're just trying to connect with our hands, with our arms, with our shoulders. And then bring it back to neutral. Turn the fingertips out. Maybe change where the hands are positioned. And then take the weight a little bit right and a little bit left. Feeling a different shape in your shoulders. Maybe you start to bring one shoulder down towards center line as you exchange. Starting to have an experience in the shoulders, feeling your shoulders. Maybe starting to move the shoulder blades around, really starting to experience all of the range of motion of your shoulders. Mindful of your compensation patterns, so watch out for the neck. Try not to take all the tension into your neck. Find your breath. Move through your shoulders as if you're trying to release any hidden tension. And then if you're taking your circles, try reversing the circle pattern of your shoulder blades. Slow, mindful, having an experience. There's no goal. There's no right or wrong. There's no should or should not. Just being here in this body. And then bring it back to center and slowly lower down to the forearms. Maybe not having the forearms directly under the shoulders. Maybe having them a little bit wider today. Changing it up. Find a way that you can change it up a little bit. Press the hands into the ground. So really press into the ground and then feel like you're pulling the elbows apart. That should fire up the arms and the shoulders. Maybe even the chest. Lift the chest up a little bit more from the ground. Maybe even engage the stomach. If you like, you can make this full body and feel like you're pressing the knees into the ground and then pulling the knees apart. That will start to engage the glutes and the legs. Watch the tension in the neck. And then, again, we're going to take that soft side-to-side exchange of weight. One side to the other. Moving left to right shoulder, very slow, very mindful, with muscle engagement. So just feeling a little connection of the muscles that engage around the shoulders. And then bring the torso back to neutral and slowly lower all the way down to the ground, crocodile pose. So one hand on top of the other, forehead down on top of the hand, and shimmy the hips, loosen, soften, and let go. So find the breath here. Notice what happens when you try to soften into this pose. Notice anything that comes up. So there's no such thing as the perfect pose where every person on earth feels exactly the same amount of comfort. And even your favorite pose can some days be different and not your favorite pose. The practice is not to find perfection in each pose, but to come to a pose and notice what comes up. So noticing what comes up for you, noticing the tension around the neck and shoulders, noticing any gripping around the torso. Maybe you feel vulnerable with your back exposed. Just notice, experience, breathe. Giving some kindness and time for your body to start to release some of the tension that it holds. Patiently giving space for what is held to come up and be processed. And then bring the heels up towards the ceiling and start to point and flex the feet. So starting to just slowly have an experience with the feet. Trying to remain soft in the back and the neck and the face. Trying to retain that nice slow breath. Turn your toes all the way out. Feel the maximum that you can draw your toes out to the side. And then draw your toes all the way in towards center. Feel the maximum. Feel the muscles in the foot. Bring the toes back to neutral. Take the toes all the way to the ceiling. Feel the maximum that you can curl the toes under. Squeeze the foot, squeeze the foot. And then draw the toes all the way back towards the shins. Feel the maximum. Squeeze. Stretch the foot open. And then soften the feet. See what they feel like. Soften. Maybe give them a little kicks, a little loosens. See what they feel like. Soften the feet. Take little soft sways left to right. So soft, slow sways left to right. Lower the left leg down, keeping the right leg up. Take the right knee up off the ground and press the heel towards the ceiling. Notice which muscles fire this up. So really paying attention to that lower back because it's a big muscle group. It's going to want to do all the work. Try to take it into the glute, into the back of the leg. See if you can do that. Notice your neck and your face. See if you can remain soft. Push the heel a little more to the ceiling, engage, and then little pulses, tiny and slow, not floppy. This is what I often see, floppy, 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 not really doing any work. We're trying to connect with the muscles. So trying to take it out of the low back, find the back of the leg and the glute, and find slow and controlled movement. When it's slow and controlled, we can have that mind-body connection of what's going on. So lift and lower, watching for your compensation patterns. Lift, take the heel out towards the right. Hold. Take the heel in across midline, hold. And then bring both heels back up, soften, loosen, take the heels side to side. Lower the right foot down, engage the left leg, take the heel up to the ceiling and notice which muscles are doing the work. Try to take this in the glute, in the back of the leg. Turn off the low back, turn off the neck, turn off the face, squeeze and hold. And then lift and lower. Nice, slow, controlled. Lift and lower. Nice, slow, controlled. Bonus points if you can match the movement to your breath. Really slowing both the breath and the movement down. And then lift the knee, take the heel all the way over to the left side, engage and hold. Take the heel across midline, engage and hold. And then bring it back to neutral, bring the right foot up and take side sways left to right with the legs. And then lower the legs and really shimmy the hips and the legs. Let go, soften and loosen. And then return to neutral and bring your focus right to that point in the forehead that your forehead is resting on. See if you can focus your entire focus right here and to nothing else. Can you feel the connection of your hand on your head? And then from here, we're going to roll on over to our backs. So landing on your back, take a moment to land. Take a moment to wiggle and adjust. Land where your hips are comfortable. Bring your knees up, your feet down. Land where your back is comfortable. So not forcing your low back to the ground, forcing your back flat, but letting that natural curve of your low back happen. Your hips are on the ground, rib cage on the ground, and whatever that curve is, letting it remain in your low back and letting your low back be soft. Also, the core is soft right now. Everything's soft. See how soft you can get. You want to compete with how soft you can get. See if you can find all the places that you typically hold tension and see if you can soften them. Move and wiggle and let go. Find the magic of softness. letting your body find softness. And then bring the arms out even with the shoulders, palms up. So find the position where you can hold this and you're comfortable. You're not bringing any more tension into the low back, maybe across the shoulders and neck, mindful. We're going to take the right hand and we're going to take it over past the left. So we're looking for movement through the shoulders and the upper back. So trying not to take this with muscular force. Rolling over and taking the right hand past the left. Past. Open back up. Inhale as you open. Exhale as you bring the left hand past the right. Allow the head, inhale as you open. Allow the head to roll softly across the ground. Allow the hips to move as they're going to move. Just trying to feel maximum range of movement in the upper back. Having an experience across the tension in the upper back. Taking the left hand all the way past the right. Inhale as you open. Exhale as you take the right hand all the way past the left. Maybe even soften the eyes, close to help tune out everything else and just land in the upper back and shoulders. Having an experience across the upper back and shoulders. And then land back in neutral. Notice what feels different. Bring a little bit of awareness to the hips, allowing the hips to be on the ground. Really feeling the ground below the hips. Trying not to bring the tension into the low back. We're going to take a right leg up. Soft right leg. Just soft this time. Right leg lifts, keeping the hips on the ground. And maybe you want to just remind them to stay where they are with your hands. And take the right leg in a circle. Maybe the knee goes in the circle. If you want to take the leg long, take the leg in the circle. But this time soft. Just feeling softness in the leg and how the hip is feeling. So we're looking in for an experience in the hip. I'm looking in at the tension in the hip. Just kind of feeling, and take it soft and slow. Like you're trying to find every movement the hip can make, and you're trying to know where the tension is in the hip. From where it's weak, where it's tense, where it's got creaks and groans, where it's got holding patterns, just noticing. Reverse the circle you're taking. And then a little bit of attention to the left foot. So really grounding the left foot, grounding the left hip. Bring the right knee about even with the hip. You can have the knee bent. You can have the leg a little longer. It makes it a little heavier. Trying to keep a little awareness. So not super tense in the leg, but a little awareness, a little engagement. Take your foot across the body and find a little movement across the body, maybe letting that right hip pop up. Hold the leg. So now you're going to engage and hold. Should be engaged in the stomach, should be engaged around the hip to hold the leg, and then slowly bring it back through center, allowing the hip to come down. We're not flopping in space. We're using our muscles, finding our muscles. Allow the leg to come all the way over to the right. Notice if that left hip wants to pop up. Really try and ground that left hip down. Find the muscles that hold the leg up. Notice if it's the low back that's doing all the work, and try to bring a little more attention into the leg and the stomach. Try to pay attention to your holding patterns in your neck and your face. Hold the leg here. Bring the leg a little bit up towards the nose or the shoulder. And then bring the heel slowly down towards the back of the mat. And then bring the heel slowly back to where it was. And then bend the knee. Soften the leg and take a nice soft circle. See what's going on. Maybe your hip feels a little different. Maybe it doesn't. Bring it back in the other direction. And then take the right knee over the left. Soften first. Bring the knees in towards the chest. And then you're going to feel like you're pulling your feet towards opposite shoulders. The pull is with your muscles. You can rest your hands on your legs and play with the angle with your feet. But you're feeling like you're pulling those feet up towards opposite shoulders. That should help you find the piriformis underneath the glute area on the right side. Breathe. Find the space where it's warm and you just breathe into that space. Land your awareness here. And imagine any gripping, softening and loosening. If you're a visual person, imagine a ball of energy here, a color or temperature or texture. Just imagine it sweeping, softening, loosening, control, and gripping. Then slowly unravel. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Have an experience. What does it feel like to find your legs in different positions? Don't just throw them around. Land, find them. Right leg stays down. Particular attention to right hip, just letting it ground. We're going to take left leg up, soft leg this time. Leg can be towards straight, it can be bent. We're going to take a circle. As if we're trying to feel every single movement the left hip can make. Nice and slow as you can. And then reverse the circle. Noticing your compensation patterns, so checking in, noticing your low back, noticing your face. Are you gripping with the right toes? And then bring the leg up towards the sky. Engage the leg. A little bit of awareness in the hips. Take the leg slowly across the body. So slowly, slowly, slowly across the body. Let the left hip pop up, but the right hip remains grounded. Engaging this left leg. Find a position that you can hold and engage with strength. So stomach now engaged, leg entirely engaged. Hold, build strength, breathe. No gripping in the right foot. Watch for gripping in the back. Try to bring awareness to the core. Watch for gripping in the shoulders and the neck and the hands. There's no perfect position for the head. Let it go. Breathe and then slowly back through center as slow as you can. Slow as you can. Let the left hip come down. Round the left hip down and then slowly take the left leg out to the left. Watch for your gripping. Watch for your low back. Watch for your compensation patterns. A little bit of core engagement. A lot of leg engagement. Slowly bring the heel towards the nose or the toes towards the nose, towards the shoulder, and then all the way down towards the end of the mat. Slow as you can, finding the muscles, finding your compensation patterns. And then bring the foot all the way back to where it was. Breathing. Soften the face. Hold here. And bring it back to neutral, back up to the ceiling. Soften the leg and return to your circle. So find your circle, feeling the left hip. And then reverse your circle. Bring the left foot down. Take a little side sway with the knees softening and loosening. Land center and take a little wiggles with the hips. So you can take left to right side adjustments with the hips, taking little wiggles. So you're looking for that jelly feeling in the muscles, trying to loosen, or you can just lift and lower, trying to loosen and soften any gripping in the hips and the lower legs and the glute area. Really softening, wiggling like a bowl of jelly. Loosen, soften, let go. Imagine you're a kid and you're just feeling your muscles wiggle and soften. It's a magical feeling. Letting go of gripping, letting go of control, loosening, softening. Let go, soften, and then bring the feet up and kick your feet like you're throwing a tantrum. Loosen, soften. Find the magic of feeling the muscles in the legs, loosening and softening. Really letting go of control. And if you like, you can even bring your arms into play. Loosen, soften. Be a kid again. Let go. Feel what it feels like to loosen those muscles. And then land. Feet down, knees up. Shoulders land. Many options for the rest of practice for your resting pose. Find a pose that is super comfortable. Oftentimes when we go into the traditional resting pose, Shavasana, we pull on the low back. So maybe bringing the feet wide, knees towards each other, helps you soften this gripping in the lower back. Maybe placing your feet up on a chair. Maybe rolling over to some other position that is more comfortable for you. Finding your position, making choices for your body, your practice. Arriving. Slowly letting go of all the muscles. Letting go of control. Softening the feet. Softening the legs. Softening the back. Softening the torso. Softening the face and shoulders. And then letting go of control of even your breath. I'm going to read from the Radiant Sutra. A little note with the ancient texts, they were written in a very poetic language. And they were really meant to be heard more with the heart sense, with the emotional sense, rather than the cognitive senses. So rather than thinking about cognitively knowing and understanding that scientific controlling mind, which is good, we're not ignoring it. We're just letting it go for this moment, for this kind of experience. Perhaps bringing our awareness to our emotional center or our heart center and opening up and experiencing the words. Going back to that childlike wonder, that childlike magic, where you're just open to an experience. The juggler, with her spinning torches, conjures dazzling wheels of fire. The magician taps his wand, and suddenly a net of jewels sparkles in the darkness. What do we love in magic? Each gesture is a kind of jest, inviting us beyond itself into the deepest magic of all. All that we see is the performance of the divine magician. Stand at the center of this wonder and breathe the wild scene. You're in a wonderful place and you have the time to take. Remain in your resting pose for as long as you need, giving yourself permission to take this time for you. If you need to finish up at the 60-minute mark, we are here at the 60-minute mark. Begin to bring gentle movements to the fingers and the toes. Make your way to a fetal position if you're not there already. Connect with curling up in the fetal position. Imagine going back to the beginning, back to a time when all of your needs were met, a time when you were protected, a time when you had not judged yourself as negative or positive, but you were simply a little spark of life. Take a moment to connect with that spark of life and understand that that spark of life exists within us, unchanged by our experiences, unchanged by the harsh layers of judgment we place on ourselves, unchanged by the labels that we grow and give ourselves as we move throughout our life experience. The labels of our place in society, our place in our family, our job, all those labels underneath is that spark of life, our essence. And to connect within to this essence is not to ignore all the labels and layers, but to connect within as if recharging so that we can carry all the experiences and layers. process of yoga is not to overstep or throw away the ego or throw away the waves of the thoughts and the waves of the mind and the way that it processes the world. And it's not about throwing away our emotional layer and only accepting the love layer or the happy layer and pretending that the world can be adjusted simply by only having that emotion and pretending the others do not exist. But diving down deep within, back to the spark, to recharge so that we can hold space for all of the layers, all of the thoughts, all of the emotions, all of our experiences. Drawing our loving kindness and patience from this spark within, giving it first to ourselves so that we may learn how to truly give it to the world around us. Finish your practice. Your hands are prayer at heart space. Bringing our left and right sides to meet in front of our heart. This gesture of accepting ourselves as whole and complete, precisely as we are. May we all know little loving kindness and patience. May we all know connection. Thanks for joining us.